good afternoon. Today I'm very happy to welcome Ms. Kiva Siani. She's a performer of burlesque dancing, talking to us from the United States. How are you, Kiva?
I'm well. How are you?
Everything is fine. Thank you very much for accepting the live and coming with us. I want to ask you, you have on your LinkedIn two names, Kiva Siani and Sheila Starch. So which is which? Which one is your real name and which one is your professional or stage name?
So it says FKA, which I thought that I changed very recently to say formerly known as in like Prince, the artist formerly known as Sheila. I Kiva
Yes.
is my name, and for 10
Mm-hmm.
years I performed as Sheila Star Siani. Last
Yes.
year, this roundabout this time last year, I dropped the alias. Siani is also my name.
Yes. Tell me, what inspired you to become a burlesque dancer?
um, I love to dance,
Uh-huh.
and and I have always loved to dance so many types of dancing, and have always been especially fascinated by the like feminine, sexy, mostly like ethnic dancing. I
Mm-hmm.
also was a stripper when I turned 18. When I was 17, I was go-go dancing. When I was 18, I was a stripper. I started doing burlesque because I found it and it felt like a really good place to bring all of my sensual movement together
Mm-hmm.
in one
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm. And you perform live, but I want to ask you during the COVID or lockdown, did you consider to make like a live show from home because there many platforms were created for artists to perform, at the confines of their living room. Did you do so?
I did. I have. A lot of platforms were created. I performed on the Cyber Clown Girls show. I performed with Peep Show Menagerie. My the production group that I have been part of, Marvelous and Melanated, we created one in 2020, December 2020. Um, yeah, I did. I loved it. I have one more coming up
Uh,
next month.
Excellent. But tell me, how did you start it in the burlesque performance world? Did you study? Have you been like under the teaching of certain other artists? What did you do to enter this world?
So I actually started performing and teaching burlesque before I ever took an official burlesque class. Um, Burlesque is not a dance style. Burlesque is the kind of show that you're in. So I've been a stripper, I've been a dancer, I'm a striptease artist who performs in burlesque shows.
Yes. Tell me, in your own words, what is your, I mean, style, signature style during your performance, or we can say like a routine. If someone,
I
yeah, will watch your show, what can he or she expect?
You can expect to be inspired to be sensual and sexy. You can expect to be turned on and maybe get it on with your lover later. I my signature style as a burlesque performer and really just as a movement artist in general is slow, sensual. I'm known as one of the best slow burns on the burlesque stages.
Uh,
Super slow.
Excellent. And
Super slow.
super slow. But tell me, how do you choose the music and so the costume? Because they are very important element of performance.
It really depends on the story that I'm telling. Sometimes the
Uh-huh.
music comes to me first. Oftentimes the music comes to me first. Actually, that's not true anymore. It used to be true
Mm-hmm.
when I was
Mm-hmm.
about, a baby performer. Um, but I've really eclectic, broad taste in music. I came up in a musical family, and so I've always had a lot of exposure. Um, it will go with the theme, like costume, music. It all goes together in whatever story I'm trying to tell. So most of my acts have sometimes very blatant, in your face storylines, like my Plague Doctor act, which is my new 15-minute long uh, feature length act. Um, and that one, everything went in the line of being a healer, but it's very dark. Um, and then sometimes it's not, it's just this underlying feeling that a particular song might have spoke to me during a particular moment in my life. And I put whatever that feeling is, but it's not necessarily blatant. Um, Sometimes a costume piece comes to me first. I have my the act that I won Miss Hollywood Burlesque with was Prince's Thieves in the Temple. That act came because I knew that there was a Prince themed show coming up, and I am such a Prince girl. And so Lily Von Stupp in Los Angeles, the producer in Los Angeles, she was putting that show together. I told her I would be a very sad, sad, sad dancer if I didn't get to be in that show. I had 1,000 Prince songs that I could dance to that I had been dancing to. I know like the whole catalog, but I didn't know what. Um, Mother's Day came along. I am a mother, and my Grammy gave me this. It is actually a belt, like a gold belt, but it's an old 70s. It was one of hers from like the 70s, the chain belts to go around, and and it also, there was a chain choker, and the chain belt had like a clip, like a pet's leash on it, and I laughed, but then my whole that whole act ended up being created on that piece because I hooked it to I hooked the belt to my neck and then handed it to my now ex um, boyfriend at the time, and my Grammy laughed. But that whole act was built around this, chain and belt that my Grammy gave me, um, as an act that was kind of had an ode to the, like, Conan the Barbarian, um, uh, Gore Norman, oh goodness, can't remember his last name, or sorry, his first name, but Norman's life, the Gore, like a slave girl kind of aesthetic. So sometimes it just comes in whatever way it comes when inspiration hits.
Yes. And I want to ask you, um, so far, for how many years you've been performing?
The first time I danced on a stage, I was 3 years old,
Really? Mm-hmm. Yes.
and I didn't like it. I didn't like
Yes.
it. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then I danced some more when I was in my preteens. I did a performance. I was taking classes and did a performance for a family event and fell in love with Polynesian dance. That was around 11 or 12 years old. But I was still very shy. And then when I moved with my mom when I was 16, I was 16 going on 17 when I moved with my mother, and from there I just started dancing. I went out with some new friends because it was a new city, uh, and they took me to a teeny bopper club. There, after a couple weeks of going, there was a go-go dancing contest to get the job at the club, and I won. So at 16, I started go-go dancing, and I've never left the stages since.
Yes, excellent. But when you start at school, when you felt a little bit uneasy, it was at school,
Mhm.
3 years old, at school.
When I was little,
Yes,
yeah,
but
it was. Hmm? What was that?
it was at school. But tell me, I want to ask you, during your career, did you face some kind, I mean, of anxiety or stage fear when you appear in front of the audience? Or right now, for you, it's about, I mean, performing without any challenges?
I feel challenged all the time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel the same kind of nervous when I perform that I did when I was younger. It's a different kind of nervous. Like back then, it was a feeling of not feeling good enough, not knowing, not feeling, but more not knowing what I look like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm performing. Now I know myself very well on the stages. I know
Yes.
my style, um, and so now it's more of a do I am I stuck in a rut? Am I just recycling the same thing kind of a feeling rather than oh I'm not good enough. Like I know what I do. I know that the audience loves it. Um, but I feel a little more pressure with my peers. Um, if that makes
Yes.
any sense.
Yes, but tell me, Kiva, do you have a certain dream or aspiration you would like to realize this year?
This year, I would by the end of this year like to be booked as a feature dancer rather than a showcasing dancer or whatnot. I would like to be booked as a feature dancer um, through an agency. I would like to be represented at this point. That's my big goal. And also to start up my stage show again.
This
Back
is
to
great.
production.
Back to
Hmm?
production on the
Hmm.
road. Yes. Kiva, I want to thank you very, very much for this live interview, and I wish you all the best in your dancing and also your with your family. And I look forward to have you again if you have a new announcement or a new project to talk about.
Cool. Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
for.
having me.
Thank you.
I
Take care.
really,
Have a
really,
lovely weekend.
I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
You too.
Take care.
Bye bye, Sherif.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.